The card for today's lesson is one that is connected to the signs of Taurus, Cancer, and Libra. And the word most associated with this card is abundance. But if I had to choose one word for the Empress, I would pick love. Hi, if you're new here, I'm River. I'm a queer astrologer and tarot reader. And in this Tarot 101 series, I'm going to be going over the meaning for each of the 78 cards. So if you want to follow along, I'll link the playlist below so you can see the other cards that I've covered so far in this series. The next major arcana awaiting the Fool represents the universal figure of love and care, the Mother. Her status is elevated appropriately with the title of the Empress. On her head, she wears a crown of 12 stars, the same number of stars in the Madonna's crown, that signifies her relationship to the divine. These 12 stars may also have a connection to the 12 zodiac signs. Behind her, we see a bright yellow sky, like we saw with the Fool and the Magician. The yellow here represents pure conscious energy, which illuminates one's desires and needs. It is also a reminder that for things to flourish, they need warmth and light, which holds true for the space around the Empress. We see a lush forest, a flowing river, and a field of golden wheat. She holds her scepter proudly over her realm, for she deals not with dreams, hopes, or the unconscious world, but over nature herself. Her dress is adorned with pomegranates, a symbol of knowledge, fertility, love, and beauty. It is said that the goddess Venus herself only planted pomegranate trees. At the base of the Empress's throne, we have a symbol for the planet Venus. It rules over love, values, harmony, and beauty. It is of these things that the Empress teaches the Fool, not as concepts, but as real physical things. Her love is one of warm embraces, of the soft comforts of life, a kiss on a wounded knee, and warm, nutritious meals. She also teaches the Fool how to be in harmony with one's body and the natural world. But what does this all mean if you were to receive the Empress in a tarot reading? There may be some tie in here with your mother or motherhood, but also too it could be your more nurturing parent. And for some of us, that may be your father, or that could also be a grandparent or a trusted aunt or uncle. The Empress often represents the person in our life who first taught us what it means to be loved and to love, for better or worse. And so, with that, often comes the ideas of nature versus nurture. Am I the way that I am because it's something that is inherently inside of me, or is it something that I've been taught and now I am repeating? In my readings, I often see the Empress come up when someone is reconnecting with their inner child, and when one is learning about all the ways that they need to be loved. And because the Empress is so tied in to the physical world, there are things like needing affection, physical touch, and often listening to the body's cues when it comes to hunger or the need for rest. This is also a card that deals with one's home and home environment, making sure it's a place of rest and happiness and pleasure. Like the Magician, the Empress is also a big favorite for creatives because she deals a lot with abundance and fertility. The Empress helps us take our ideas from the mental plane and birth them into the physical realm. She moves with a softness and warmth, being careful not to tread on the space of others. But don't mistake this softness for meaning that she is a pushover. We've all seen how the energy of mothers can be very dominant and aggressive when they need to be. And just as we are taught to respect them, we must respect nature herself too. Now let's see how the Empress works in action in a tarot spread. Let's say you do a reading for you and your bestie, and you ask the cards, what is wonderful about a relationship? And you pull the Empress, and you ask, what do we need to work on? And you get the Justice card. Now, as before, I'm going to invite you to pause the video and write down your answers, or you could even do a little voice note. Don't worry about what is right or wrong. Just think back to the keywords and follow your intuition. Your answers may lead you down a different path than me, so I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. All right, let's begin. So, for this reading, I'm going to key in on a difference between the two cards and use that as the basis for the reading, which is what I do quite often. So, here I want you to take note of the chair and the posture of the figures. So, in the Empress card, you see that she's sitting on a very cushy throne. She's able to recline slightly, her arm is supported by the chair, and her body isn't facing completely forward. Whereas Justice sits on a stone throne, maybe made of marble or granite. Nonetheless, it is very uncomfortable, and she doesn't have any support for the things that she's holding in her hands. So, just from those two differences, I'm going to use the word comfortable and uncomfortable as the basis for this reading. So I would say that what is wonderful about your relationship is that you're very comfortable together. There's a lot of warmth, there's a lot of affection. But I would also say that with this comfortability can come a level of codependency. One of you may be taking on a maternal role and therefore providing a lot of love, safety, and support for the other person. And while this is a common dynamic for many friendships, remember that too much of a good thing can be detrimental. On the other side, we had the word uncomfortable for justice, right? The justice card deals with facing the cold truth of things, which can be very uncomfortable. Remember, I said to take note of their postures. When you love and care for someone, you often skirt around the truth. Or you'll go out of your way to protect someone from feeling bad about things. An example I can give here is your friend coming to you after they've had a fight with their partner. With the Empress here, you're going to automatically go into the defensive and caretaking role, putting all the blame on said partner. But remember, relationships are about balance. No one is completely good or evil, 100% right or wrong in a situation. There's nuance there. And perhaps by taking on this caretaking role, you're not helping your friend to face up to what they potentially did wrong in the situation. And that's where the Empress, with all of her love, can at times be enabling. But I'm not saying to completely rid your relationship of love and warmth, only that there needs to be some balance set there. But let's switch things around a bit. How would this reading read if we had the Empress in the position of what you need to work on in your relationship and the Fool for what is wonderful? Again, I invite you to pause and write down your answers. So, with the Fool for what is wonderful about your relationship, I would say that you and your bestie go on a lot of adventures. Maybe when it's the pair of you, there's a very happy go lucky sort of feeling where, like, you know, who cares about making plans? Who cares about saving enough money to do something? And it can be really wonderful to have a friendship where you both just go for it and you're not afraid to take risks when you have this person by your side. But perhaps in your adventures, the two of you are not taking into account enough of your family's warnings or advice. Perhaps you're not checking in enough with your bodies. Maybe you're putting yourselves in these risky positions that could really cause harm to your physical selves. Maybe you're going off on some mountain adventure, but not packing enough warm clothes, not thinking enough about what food you need to bring with you. Or perhaps in your travels around the world, you're not giving enough thought to what environmental impact that you have. So that is it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Empress. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any other videos in this series. As always, you can book a reading with me at byjoveastrology.com if you want to learn more.